All right, it's at 11 o'clock. Welcome everyone to the Power Half Hour. And today we have a very, very special guest. I'm super stoked to have Matt Greene from Philadelphia on our call. I would say Matt is, no disrespect to any of the role play partners I've ever had, but Matt has to be number one of all time. And I would say Michael Ireland's probably number two if you're on the call. Michael, I love you. And Matt is just a master salesperson, master at scripts, master at dialogues, and just knows how to sell. And so Matt has been selling on average 50 to 100 properties in the past 13 years, a one-man show. I don't know anybody else who's doing that right now, nor do I recommend you do that to try to kill yourself. But Matt is doing it every single day. So without further ado, Matt Greene from Philadelphia. Thank you for being here.
You are welcome. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So I'll start by asking you some questions about yourself. How long have you been in real estate, Matt?
Since 2007.
2007. Okay, so right now it's about 13 years.
Yes, 13 years.
Fantastic. And I think we met somewhere around 2013.
I think so, yeah. In
Yeah.
Hollywood, I don't know where we met, but one of the events.
Hollywood, Florida, I think. And even before that, we were in a mastermind with Melissa and Paul, of course. And Paul, thank you for being on the call. So, first off, when I first met Matt, he was doing, 85, 91 transactions a year, and it hit over 100. And I don't know how you did it, but tell us how you got to 100 transactions with just one admin.
Yeah, so actually there were two admins. So I started in 2007, and I think I listed and sold 16 properties that year. And then 2008 happened, and of course in the US that was kind of a transformational year because of what happened with the market, which actually benefited me because I really, really worked on mastering listing expired and canceled listings. So my business exponentially grew in 08, 09, 10, 11. And by 2012, I was actually the highest producing agent in the multiple listing service, which was really cool. And then,
Wow.
Yeah. And so I did have 2 full-time assistants. I did not have a buyer agent, but I had somebody that I referred buyers to. So at my peak year, I was selling 96 listings, and Jennifer, who was the buyers, was selling about 35 to 36. So combined, it was around 125 transactions. And then I sold that business in 2016, moved to Philadelphia, started completely from scratch, had a big, what the F am I doing moment, and here I am.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's such a big step. I couldn't believe you were doing it, but I can see you being so much happier. So congratulations on that. And to actually move and give up all your COI, your past clients and center of influence in Harrisburg must have been a scary thing. But now you're thriving. But to tell us about that mental process moving over.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I'll be honest, John, I never expected to succeed at real estate. I mean, I was committed to doing it, but in my mind, I never really expected to do it because I knew nothing about real estate at all. I didn't know what a mortgage was when I got my license. I had no idea. I'd been renting, my entire life. So I'm kind of like, what am I doing? And so I was working in Harrisburg, and I moved there from New York City. Never expected to stay in Harrisburg. And when my business started to get really large, I started to kind of freak out because I was like, I don't want to be in a smaller town, and yet my roots are growing deeper with my business. What am I going to do? I started to feel trapped. So I made a 3-year plan with my coach to move to Philadelphia by the time I turned 40, which I did. Actually, I was 41 when I moved here, but part of that planning was, how do I sell this business? So essentially I structured a deal with the person that was handling buyers for me. And she took over my entire business, my COI, my assistants. and I got 3 years of referrals on every deal that she did. So it ended up being like well over a couple $100,000 of income that I got from selling the business to her, and her business in turn has turned into a massively producing business. So I'm super proud of her, and yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. And this just goes to show you guys that you can sell real estate anywhere, literally anywhere, and start a business anywhere if you know what to say,
Yes.
right? And Matt has really mastered this aspect of the sales game. So tell us about your practice schedule and what you do to increase your sales skills.
Yeah, so I mean, let me back up. I started taking piano lessons when I was 4 years old. I started taking voice lessons in addition to piano lessons when I was 11 years old. So by the time I graduated from high school, I had been classically training for 14 years. And then I went to music school. I went to the Eastman School of Music, which, along with Juilliard, is ranked as the top 2 music schools in the world. And I don't say that to brag, but I say that to make everybody aware that after 14 years of private training, I went into Olympic level training. And at that level, you are training, sometimes 12 hours a day with up to 6 or 7 or 8 different coaches and instructors for 4 years. And you're also performing that whole time. And, many of the people that I graduated with are now principal musicians at some of the best orchestras in the US and around the world. Renee Fleming, who is like the Whitney Houston of sopranos, literally has won multiple Grammy Awards, is definitely the best known classical soprano right now in the world. She and I studied with the same voice teacher. So I just had a level of training that I don't know that most people can relate to. So when I moved into real estate, and how I got there is a whole different story, but when I got into real estate and started training with the Mike Ferry organization, learning scripts and skills and spending, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours a day, maybe 10 hours a week, that was nothing for me. That was simple because I had been used to training for much more than that. So for me, it's just been second nature. Oops, my light's going off. Hang on 1 second. For me, it's just been second nature. And, I've continued doing that. And so I've role played ever since I got my license. I'm still doing it 10 times a week. 13 years later, you can never be sharp enough. And that's how you get really good. It's as simple as that.
Holy smokes. So you were practicing 6 hours a day with multiple coaches at a national level. Were you getting paid for that?
No.
No. Oh my goodness. And now you're getting paid big bucks, and you practice 1/3 the time each and every day, or not even. It was 1 hour a day, did you say?
Yeah, 1 hour a day. So for me to, spend an hour getting ready for a listing appointment, which I don't always do, but let's just pretend I did, that would be nothing. I would be practicing for 6 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day for one recital, for one performance, spending 6 months with multiple coaches and advisors and teachers to do one performance. So to spend some time getting ready for a listing appointment where there's going to be a $10 or $15 or $20,000 commission, to me that seems like common sense. As my dad says, there's nothing common about that. So I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but for me, it's really worth it.
It really is common sense, and yet nobody understands that, I think. And in real estate, we expect to earn these commissions, $10,000, $15,000, even $30,000 per check, but none of us want to practice. We talk about and see, professional football players, NBA players, hey, how much they practice per day, and look at what they're getting paid. We expect to not practice at all and earn these huge commissions. So today, how much do you still practice?
Still role play 10 times a week.
10 times a week.
That would be a half hour, so it's at least an hour a day. And then if I'll be going through situations with colleagues at the office or my manager, whoever's around, if there's something that I want to, to kind of roll through, or a situation that I want to talk through. but I really don't think you can do it enough. I mean, I don't see how anybody can expect to be in a situation and be in control of the conversation, lead the conversation without having practiced. I don't see how it's possible.
I don't see that either. And you know what? After 15 years of selling real estate, I'm still role playing 5 times a week. Actually,
Well,
a couple
double
days,
it.
I would role play twice a day. So even today, guys, I mean, I'm still role playing every single day. Who on this call right now is role playing on a daily basis?
Good.
Got real quiet. It got real quiet. So, a lot of us on the call right now in the audience are real estate agents. What would you recommend is a good way to start to improve your sales skills?
Again, it comes down to practice. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but here's the thing. So for me, one of the benefits of really having mastered the scripts, and I don't consider myself in that category at all. I mean, I'm pretty good, but one of the benefits I think of really mastering the scripts is you can actively listen to the client, really listen. Like I've got my arm against the wall and I'm listening to people whisper in the other room. Like that's the intensity that I'm listening to the client. So I can really pick up on things that other people wouldn't pick up on. And the reason I can do that is because I'm not thinking about what I have to say next. It's already natural. It's already internalized. It's already automatic. It's kind of like I was driving to an appointment the other day and I was driving down a route that I always go down. So like I'm turning left and right. I didn't have to think about where I was going. And I noticed this building that's always been there, but I'd never noticed it before. And it reminded me of being on a presentation, of being able to listen to something that other people wouldn't see. I wouldn't have noticed that building if I had to focus on where I was driving or think about where I was going. But because it was just kind of like second nature to me, I'm able to like look and notice things that I wouldn't see before. So that's to me one of the many benefits of being able to know your scripts, in addition to being able to manage your time on a presentation. A seller goes off and takes a hard right from the conversation, being able to address them and then lead them back on the path, especially if you've got other appointments later in the day, is critical. Otherwise, you could be there forever, and most people are.
Yeah, most people go on listing appointments that are 2 to 3 hours, right? And an average agent, goes on a list. So average might vary agent like yourself. How long do you take on a listing appointment?
It depends. I mean, if it's over the phone, it could be 10 minutes. If it's in person, normally no more than 20. Sometimes it can take 30. I feel like if you're there much longer than that, the client's going to glaze over. You're going to get distracted, and I think it goes downhill if you're there too long, for sure.
Guys, so what I'm hearing right now from Matt is that if you practice your skills daily and you role play daily, you can work the same amount of time and actually go on multiple appointments and take more listings by working the same amount of time. Did you guys get that? And that's how Matt is able to sell 96 listings in 1 year. 96, guys.
Yeah, exactly. But think about it. You are a stranger going into somebody's house, and it's typically after they've worked an 8-hour day. They're waiting to have dinner with their family. They don't want to sit down with somebody that they don't know who's yapping away after they've worked a full day. They want to get right to the point, and they want somebody who's in control and who can lead the conversation and who's speaking sensibly and who's making, who's getting to the point with them. So, if you get in there and are trying to socialize and build rapport and blah, 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 and, converse about things that aren't really related to the sale of their house, it's going to be a turnoff for a lot of people.
I really hear that. And you know what? Mike always says, selling is not telling. Selling is asking questions. And I want to take that further because I know you do this very well. Selling is actually listening.
Yes.
Guys, selling is listening. Matt, when we role play, he listens so well and he repeats exactly what I said. not like verbatim, but he gets what I'm saying.
And if I don't, then I'm asking clarifying questions, right? I mean, if you're listening, you don't understand, or you need the client to repeat, or you need them to clarify what they said, I want to be crystal clear on what the client's looking to achieve in what period of time, what their expectations are. I need to be super clear about that so that I can deliver what they want. And if we're glossing over what the client's looking for, whether it's in terms of the agent or in terms of the time frame that they want to sell their house in, or whatever it is, if I'm not clear on that, I can't deliver them something that I'm not personally clear on. Does that make sense to you, John?
Sorry?
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I mean, you really get what they're trying to achieve and then delivering that.
Yeah.
Right? One of the things that I notice that you always do, which I have a problem with, is the silence in between sentences, between the conversation. Sometimes when I say something during a role play, you would simply pause. And I'd be like, what's he thinking? And it's a good 2 to 3 seconds. And then you respond. You're so comfortable with the silence. I'm sure a lot of us on this call just want to talk. They just want to listen and then respond right away. How do you do that?
Well, again, if you know what you're going to say, and scripts are a roadmap, they're a framework. They give me, when I'm practicing scripts, they give me a direction of where the conversation should go. A lot of times they give you the exact words, but sometimes the client's going to say something or ask you a question, and I'll listen and then respond to the question. If you're jumping over the client, it means you're essentially starting to speak before they're finished speaking, because you hear them say something and you want to get in there so quickly, right? Because I would say it's because you're not comfortable with what's going to come next. So I don't know. That's a skill in and of itself. Active listening, so that you're not speaking over the client and you're sure they're finished speaking before you start.
Yes, I just got that. I'm pausing a bit too. So active listening,
Yes.
repeating what they said, really getting what they said, and then asking the next question on the script, right?
Yes.
And another thing that I really notice that you do well is you have no problem asking questions that are somewhat confrontational. How did you train yourself to do that?
That would be in psychology and therapy, really. So I have, and I'm a huge believer in therapy. And what I found is there are 2 types of therapists that I've been exposed to. There are those that will agree with everything that you say. And then there are those that will interrupt a pattern that isn't working. Okay, and for me, I like that, because if I'm talking to a therapist about something, it's normally something that's not working in my life. And if they're just agreeing and agreeing and agreeing and agreeing, it becomes frustrating for me, because frankly, I want a solution, right? If I had the solution to my problem, I wouldn't be there. And a lot of times we provide solutions for the clients. The client is speaking in la la land with what their expectations are. I believe my role is to bring them back down to earth. And I think most clients do want honesty. I think they do want somebody that's direct. So it's not about making them wrong. It's about saying, whoa, John, I'm hearing what you're saying. We got to come back down to earth and really be realistic about this. Unless you just want to test the market and have your house sell 10 years from now, 9 years from now, maybe never, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a result? Or are you looking for an experiment? So that's just my way of being confrontive about a client that might be, not even unrealistic, because they don't think they're unrealistic, but it's our job to really know what's going to work and what isn't going to work.
You see, that is so masterful what you just did. And a lot of people would not be able to do that. You take it away from the client and you're just so unattached. You care, but you're so unattached to the outcome.
Yeah.
I just want to know how. How do you do that?
What benefit comes from being attached to the outcome. I mean, the outcome that I'm attached to is delivering them honesty. That's the outcome that I'm attached to, right? Of course, I want the business, but ultimately, as you all know, as you know, John, yourself, if you are agreeing to a price or terms or whatever it is that ultimately isn't going to work, who does that benefit? It benefits nobody. You know, the client's going to get frustrated with you. It leads to a much longer, period of having to service the client. They become frustrated. You become frustrated. Why not just address it? Now, here's the thing that I'd say. It's much easier to be confrontational with a little bit of humor. Not like, you freaking idiot, you're stupid, But like, but a lot of times I will just get a big smile on my face and I'll be like, do you really believe that's going to work given all of these other sales, Mr. Seller? I mean, we are hoping to hit the lottery. Maybe you should just play the lottery and not sell your house. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but.
That's so good. Okay, now guys, just be cautious. If you don't know the script, you don't know what to say, humor can come off, really condescending, or it just comes out wrong. So you really, really have to practice your scripts, dialogues. Make sure you listen intently. Then you can use some humor. Am I correct here, Matt?
Well, yeah, but John, you know me. Okay, so that is my style. It's not just my sales style. I am, I can be, I hope, pleasantly sarcastic in social situations. And I have learned how to push the boundary far enough that will elicit a laugh, but also make a point. Some people don't have that ability, so don't try it if that's not who you are. Do whatever works for you. But I think the point here is people respect when you tell them the truth, even if it's difficult, And it might be as easy as saying to the client, Mr. Seller, this is not easy for me to say. My intention is to be 1,000% honest with you. I don't believe the market's going to support that price. I just don't. So let's talk about what the market will support. Okay, it could be as simple as that.
Yeah, really, 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 it's good. So I got a question here. I'll just put that out right now from Mariel. How did knowing the scripts add to your level of self-confidence?
Well, it's everything. I mean, look, confidence. Where did I hear this on a podcast? The guy said it's a mindset podcast, and he said, and I totally agree with this. Confidence isn't something. Here goes this light again. Sorry. Confidence is not something that you're born with. Confidence comes as a result of doing something and getting positive results over and over again. Okay, that's where confidence comes from. You just don't have confidence, right? You earn confidence through doing something in a positive way, getting good results, feeling good about it, doing it over and over and over again. So of course, if you don't know what to say in a sales situation, the likelihood that you're going to fall on your face is pretty high, and therefore your confidence will go down. If you learn what to say and how to say it, and you get a positive result, your confidence goes up, and then you go into the appointments and you practice, and it becomes exponentially better.
It's like a snowball effect, Mariel. You have to build upon it. And Mariel's, I mean, she's been in real estate, about 30 years, and she's so humble in asking this question. She's already a phenomenal salesperson. But again, Mariel, it's about building it up. It's not a one-day thing. That's why we role play. Even after 13, 15 years, we're still role playing. We've been role playing for how long together? Well, last 5 years at least.
For, I think, 7 years, yeah.
7 years, exactly.
Maybe 5, 7, I don't know. It's been many.
Yeah. Thank you for role playing with me. And Nitsu had a quick question here. How do you role play?
What do you mean?
I guess how the role play call goes in 30 minutes.
Normally, so it depends. Sometimes somebody will come to the call with a specific situation that they want to run through. So I'd say that happens like half the time. Either I'll be like, hey, John, this is what I'd like to work on. I have this listing, I'm looking to get this price reduction. Here's exactly what's going on. Let's run through that. Or sometimes the other person will do that. Sometimes the call is specific to one skill. So I have calls that are just about the listing presentation, and we'll go right into the presentation, whether it's me or somebody else. And then sometimes it's just kind of like, hey, what do you want to work on today? So it's one of those three things.
Yeah. So we take turns and we get right into it. Hey, what are you working on this week? You know, what's the issue this week? Are you working on price reduction? You have a difficult client, or you haven't been following up and you don't know what to say when you follow up. We role play that.
Yeah, and as John knows, my style of being a role play partner is, you know, if the person says something that I don't like, I'll jump right in and be like, wait, stop. You know, here's how we can improve this. Do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. That's how I was trained as a musician. They will stop you and have you do the same phrase for 2 hours long until you're ready to shoot them and yourself. No kidding. So, you know, I don't mind being interrupted, because if you let somebody go through 5 minutes and then you try to go back and figure out what worked and what didn't work, it's not always as effective. So, you know, you may want to try that style and see if it helps you learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I remember when we first started to role play Nitsu, Matt and I would never get off to the end of the role play because he would interrupt me right in the first couple of sentences. That was so bad, right? But I got better. I did get better. Now it comes with practice. You know, I would chant the scripts, Nitsu, you know, every line by line by line, and for a half an hour every single day. And then when I role play with Matt after, it was better, and I got better and I got better. And now, you know, we can go through the whole script without him interrupting sometimes, which is refreshing.
But, you know, think about, I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen a movie where they're, you know, you're watching somebody film something. You know, if the producer doesn't like what the actor says, they're cutting it, and they're going to do it again, cut, do it again, cut. They're not letting them just go through the whole dialogue and finish it. They'd run out of time, and it would just be kind of a waste. And also the actor wouldn't really learn what the producer's trying to say. So I believe that style of learning and role play is the most helpful.
Yeah, you got to be tough on each other, Nitsu. It's kind of like this. Michael Jordan says he's never played in a real game, more intense than any of his practices. He's never played in a game where it's as intense as his practice. So really think about that when you guys practice. All right. Good job, guys. So 3 minutes left. How about 2 pieces of advice for the audience? How to become a better salesperson?
Oh my gosh, 2 pieces of advice. Well, this is going to come as no big surprise, but practice, 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 and then practice more than you ever thought you would need to practice. I don't get it. You know, I don't know if most people, you know, hear this and don't believe that it actually happens or that it's required. But very, very few people, in fact, I don't think I know anybody that is a master at what they do. You know, whether it's a ballet dancer or a classical musician or a real estate agent that doesn't work on their skills nonstop. It really requires a lot of work. Secondly, you know, I think it's really important to practice with people that have different personality styles than you do, because we have to adapt our presentation to different personality styles, you know, and encourage the people that you're practicing with to be hard on you, to object multiple times. As you said, John, you know, when you walk into a presentation and you're used to getting 5 objections before the close and the seller only gives you 2, it's a slam dunk. It feels really easy. If you're used to getting the appointment or the listing in every single role play after 1 objection and the seller gives you 3, you're likely to get very flustered. So those would be my 2 tips. And go get your hair and makeup done. Get a little Botox, you know, make yourself look good. No, I'm serious, guys. Come on. People
Did you just say that?
Used to watching
Did you just say that?
Well, come on. It's the truth,
Okay.
John. You know it as well as I do.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Nitsu wants us to do a quick role play. How about this?
Oh, dear
Your
Lord.
favorite.
Okay.
Hey, no pressure. How about a Fizbo role play? Nitsu, this is for you.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean,
All right.
let's do an expired listing.
Expired.
Okay. Where's my script? See, I still use my script.
Keep it in front of you guys. Always have the script in front of you.
Yeah, well, okay, here we go. All
This
right,
is-
so ring.
Hello.
Hello, I'm looking for John Tsai, please.
Yes, this is.
John, my name is Matthew Greene. I'm a realtor with Cobalt Banker. I was calling regarding your property in Northern Liberties. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, John, but I noticed that the home came off the market. It looks like Remax took the listing down yesterday. When are you planning to find the right listing agent to sell the house for you?
Oh, we've taken it off. We're not interested in selling, but thanks for the call. Thanks, Matt.
Wow, no problem, John. Before you hang up, I want to clarify. So you're not selling the house anymore. And is that because the house didn't sell while you were listed, or have your plans to move changed altogether?
No, well, the house didn't sell, so we're just gonna take a break, with the whole COVID thing, and we might come back on in about 6 months.
You might come back on in 6 months. Okay. John, had the house sold yesterday, let's pretend you got a really great offer. Where would you have moved to?
Well, we were thinking about moving to California, but things didn't pan out, and we don't have to move. We want to move, and the house didn't sell, so we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, understandable. And John, why do you want to move to California? What's in California that's causing you to want to go there?
Well, we got family there, and I got a better job offer, but I can go anytime as long as the house sells. We can go. But right now, I told them the house didn't sell. I didn't get what I want, so we're gonna take a break.
Okay. And are you starting? I'm sorry for the million questions, but I just want to really understand your situation. Are you starting that job anyway and working remotely? Are you going to be commuting to Harrisburg? What is the situation?
Yeah, no, we're moving out there right now. I'm working, remotely, but eventually we're gonna have to get out there. Yeah.
You are. Okay. And John, in terms of your current house, I got to be honest, I'm really surprised it didn't sell. Listings that I put on the market in the same neighborhood generally are selling in about 3 to 4 weeks. And yours looks like a great house. What happened? What stopped it from going under contract?
Well, we had a couple offers. I don't really know what happened. I mean, there were showings there. We were very busy. We just didn't get our price.
Do you feel like, and my intention in asking this question is not to disparage another agent, but do you feel like your agent was aggressive enough in negotiating for you?
No, or else the house would be sold.
Okay, so you're looking for an aggressive agent, is that correct?
Well, yeah, but again, Matt, not right now. We're taking a break, but you're welcome to call me back in about 6 months.
Okay, I can do that, John. I'm going to be selling real estate in 6 months. Here's my final question. If you felt 100% sure that the house would sell in the next 30 to 60 days, no longer than that, would you sell and move to California?
Well, it sounds like if you have a buyer, I mean, I'm ready to move.
Okay. And what if I can find a buyer in 30 to 60 days?
I'm ready to move if you have a buyer, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, let's do this, John. What is your schedule like either tonight or tomorrow? I'd like to meet with you either in person or on the phone for 10 minutes to lay out the strategy that could get you to California. And you're under no obligation to do that, but I'd like you to have some good options at your disposal. Would tonight or tomorrow work?
Well, I don't have to sign a contract, right? I just, if you do have a buyer, you can come and have a look for sure.
Yeah, we can discuss all that. I will not hypnotize you into signing anything, I promise you. Does tonight or tomorrow work for you?
Sounds good, Matt. Tomorrow night sounds good.
All right, perfect.
Yay!
Hey!
Masterful. Yeah, and Nitsu, this is for you. This is totally unrehearsed. He did not know he was going to do this. That was amazing. We'll end it off here. If you guys don't have any questions, I just want to say thank you, Matt. You've been a huge contribution to my business and my family. Thank you for being on today. And how do we get a hold of you? How do we refer you some business in Philadelphia?
just look up Matt Greene Realtor and Google. You'll find me front and center. I appreciate it, John. It's my honor to be with you today. And it's good to see you in person. My gosh, it's been too long.
I know. He said this was COVID-20. He said he gained 20 pounds. You're still looking good. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, you're seeing
Okay,
from here
guys.
up, and I'm wearing a dark color. But thank you, John. This is great.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, everybody.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.